In this short series, we want to tell you about a recent trip to South Florida that didn't go as planned and what we learned from it.
Everything is so mental.
In the previous video, we set off for the land of furious drivers, realized our camera was stuck, and went for 2 swims that were quite windy, one without a wetsuit, and one much more relaxing one with a wetsuit. I also found a starfish. As I mentioned in the previous video, this was filmed before COVID-19 halted travel. Me and Christina are currently bunkered in our apartment, talking to our pillows. And so I thought, that's not a horse, that's my granddaughter. But she does have a very horse-like complexion. We pick up at our Airbnb where we plan for another day of diving in the ocean.
All I can think about over these last couple of months has been filming in the ocean. It's become a massive goal of mine. James and I took a freediving course earlier in the year, and now we're here in Florida to focus on practicing our skills in the water. We went to scope out yesterday and it was kind of a mess. It was windy and cold, so we ended up getting wetsuits. We didn't have the right gear camera-wise. Anyway, today is a new day. We're starting over. We are going out with a mission to get actual shots. So we're not just going to float around and try to find stingrays. We're going to practice our skills in the water. We've become really good videographers, and James is a great photographer on land, but it's completely different taking all of that in the water where you can't breathe, or you have a snorkel and water gets in the snorkel so you fill your water with lungs. It's just not a good vibe. There's just so much to learn and so much to practice with, and it's really, really hard that we don't live near a big body of water. We have the Great Salt Lake, but it's not quite what we need. So we're going to be taking a lot of trips out to water in the near future. We've been getting some work done planning. James is editing a video. I offloaded a ton of stuff. This SD card needs to go back into its home. I am so excited. The underwater camera housing for our A7 Mark III is here. We had the housing shipped to Fort Lauderdale, so we're in West Palm Beach right now. We're going to drive to Fort Lauderdale and swim around there, but first we're going to get the housing and set it up, and I'm just so excited. Honestly, after this housing, I have no excuse as to why all of the videos are bad.
Does that put fear into your soul?
This is horrifying. It feels more and more real as we pursue it more and more, and I just want to make this stuff good. I just want to film underwater and it just be, you know, James Cameron stuff, you know?
Hey.
Yes.
It probably won't be James Cameron. Ring. There's an O-ring on the main port system here. Anytime that you expose that O-ring to air, so doing a battery change, opening this up, doing a lens change, opening this up, it's been stored for a while, you want to clean and re-grease these O-rings. So you just kind of check and make sure you obviously don't want the dome port off center. Right. So just make sure you got it somewhat centered on the housing, and then once you're in the water, you won't be able to move it anymore. And there you are. Great. I know it's a little intimidating the first time you do it, but once you've built it a couple times, it'll be a little bit more intuitive. The
good thing is that it's white, so if I'm wearing a black wetsuit, I'll be able to at least get some good photos of me.
Exactly. That's the most important part.
I'll look cool, and that's really what we're here for. Following our setup tutorial with Lee from Reef Photo, thank you, Lee, we made our way to the ocean. All right, we've finally made it out. I got my camera housing right now. I have pressure in it to see if there's any leaks. That way, when we take it in the water, I know I have peace of mind that it will not leak. James is getting all of this stuff ready. I'm just always so ready to get into the water, but I'm trying to remind myself that it is going to be an overwhelming experience, and I'm probably really backlit, huh? It's all mental. I'm trying to get better at that. Regardless, we're making our way down to the water, trying to find a reef. Not sure if we'll find it, but we might.
After way too much preparation flailing, we got into the water. I had concerns about my fins being too tight. I noticed they would make my feet very uncomfortable after 15 minutes of use, so I opted for a pair of normal socks instead of the booties that you're supposed to use. That helped tremendously. We swam out, and our goal was to get to a buoy. Trying to get to the buoy. Okay, we made it. Made it to the buoy. If you want to understand, we only have to go about 10 feet that way, and we'll find the reef. You do that? Yeah? Good? Yep. Okay, let's find this reef. Let's do it.
When James and I were fresh, young, adventurous filmmakers, I used to joke around by saying the first and second time we did anything, it was always a failed experience. That didn't work. Don't throw
cheese on your face! Cheese on your face!
Well, 10 years later, that statement still rings true. We're still figuring out exactly what gear we need. Apparently, we need a dive belt because our lungs are big balloons and they prohibit us from diving down. We have to figure out how to carry our dive flag with us, which is important for us not to get run over by boats. There's just a lot of little details that you think you don't need because, you know, everyone likes to try to sell you things, but a lot of those things you actually do need, and we're learning that. We're such noobs at this, and honestly, I feel like we're taking steps backwards every time we get in the water. Thankfully, those are just feelings, and we've done this before. We've created things from scratch before, and I'm obsessed with this skill. So it's going to take a minute, but damn it, I'm going to learn how to be good at it.
Rocked around, you know? I got water in my ears. Whew. I'm having a good time.
That's good.
But I'm just not good at this. And that sucks.
We came back to the beach to rest after the full body workout that is swimming in the ocean, and for some reason we fell into a state of silliness that may have somehow come from feeling unaccomplished. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
I'm filming the ground because I've given up. I'm just doing this because I like hitting you with water. Give me a break!
How did that feel?
The whole experience?
Yeah.
It's good. Got a little seasick. Not as bad as the diving course.
Right?
But I mean, it was challenging and rewarding. Overall, a lot of fun. It was overall a positive experience.
I'm working on being okay with the fact that I'm not exactly where I want to be in this. And I think the trick is I just need to spend as much time on the water with the housing as humanly possible. And that's just kind of how it's going to be at this point. We're big advocates on it's not about the gear that you have, it's about the story that you're telling. And I 1000% believe in that, but
you can't tell a story underwater without this.
Right. And I like to have the right tools for the job. This will likely be the housing that we use for years to come. This setup in specific, I'm really happy with it. Maybe in 6 months I'll learn more about just filming underwater, but it's an Ikelite housing with a 16 to 35 millimeter f4 adapter for the lens, and then the dome port. The dome port is not glass, so it gets scratched up easy, so I'm, at least right now, like neurotic about making sure that it gets covered and not scratched. I'm hungry. Do you want to go eat food?
You have no idea. This was the last time we would be in the ocean on this trip. Prohibitive weather rolled over South Florida for the rest of the week and kept us out of the water. This took quite a toll on Christina. So each day we've been here has presented its own set of challenges, but today has definitely been the most discouraging day, especially for Christina. We got near the ocean and realized that the conditions, the clouds and the wind, were not very conducive for going out today. And Christina has just wanted to do that. She just wants to get out and practice. She's obsessed with it. And we decided that today wouldn't work. We couldn't figure out a solution to the problem that would allow us to get into the water. and do what Christina needed. So she's pretty bummed right now. Sucks watching her this way. We decided to make the best of it and spend time with Christina's side of the family, which happens to be all over South Florida. She grew up there, if you didn't know.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Christina. Happy birthday to you.
Christina.
Yes.
What did you learn from this trip?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No. I learned that you can make a video, a good video, out of crappy footage with a lot of voiceovers.
I edited this one, by the way.
Yes, James edited this one because I just was like, throw it away, throw it all away. I want to forget that this ever happened. And I still kind of feel that way.
I saw the struggle and thought, I can make a great video out of that.
Yeah.
So I told her, I'll edit it. Don't throw it away. What was the hardest part for you in the trip?
The point to where I knew that I couldn't get in the ocean again because the wind and the temperature and the visibility and all of that was just this big soup of you ain't getting back in the water. So that was just like kind of submitting to Mother Nature and just going, all right, I get it. It's a failure. I'll just hang out with my family, which is good. Like, family's great.
What will you take from this trip into the next trip?
Don't have high expectations. We have a trip, hopefully, if everything pans out with this whole like weird stage of quarantine that we're in. We have a trip to Hawaii for 2 weeks and I have like 15 videos planned. So in reality, we'll probably film 4 of those videos and I just have to be okay with not achieving all of those goals, but still taking steps forward.
You did choose something that involves weather, so.
Yeah, I wish that it's a mess.
Okay, there you go, it's a mess. Okay, thanks for watching, goodbye.